Incessant fire outbreak. Ministry of Interior tasks residents on safety protocols. Achieving food security. Federal government targets adoption of technological methods. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, craves for more participation of women in political activities. Hello and welcome to the news at 11 on Nta News24, reaching you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. My name is Justin Bemunyi. The Minister of Interior has charged business owners on embracing safety protocols considering climatic conditions. He was speaking at the scene of fire outbreak on Ghana Street, Maitama, Abuja. Serafina Omekwe has the report.
This is Ghana Street. What led to this inferno this Saturday afternoon is that this telecommunications company their power plant runs 24/7, I am told. And so because of that, it does not go off. And so the truck came in with a diesel while the generator was, the power plant or the generator was still on, and then they started dropping or pouring in diesel, and that was how it ignited.
We just have to be very cautious at this point in time. We have to be very careful. We have to maintain safety measures. And of course, this is a time when, at all times, you must always have a fire extinguisher.
The diesel tanker in the back was supplying diesel and putting diesel in the generator when the generator was on. So the fire actually started from back here. So by the time I got a phone call and I rushed here, the fire had already engulfed this whole area. So I want to commend the Abuja Fire Service for their quick response. They're very, very brave.
I was just at a job program when I saw missed calls from my phone. And I just said that, wow, when you have like 20 missed calls from my shop, I'm not calling. And when I called them, I found out that they said the shop had caught fire. I was so surprised. So I rushed down here only to see a massive fire. So many fire pointers all around.
Now, beneficiaries of the federal government's life-changing intervention in Itahi Okene local government area of Kogi State are optimistic the stabilization of degraded landscapes and channelization of water for dry season farming, genuine efforts of the federal government Akrisal project will eradicate poverty and boost food sufficiency. This was during the Akrisal implementation assessment mission to the area. Charles Alpha reports.
Nigerian government initiative, World Bank supported, about community focused and people-oriented, describe the kind of intervention being carried out here by Akrisal in Okene, Kogi State. Some of these women groups are beneficiaries of the community revolving funds, who have used such funds to empower themselves with this cassava value chain and processing center.
What you are seeing here today is a benefit to us, not just with the member, but the entire community, because in the past, they don't know that you can process maize into semo locally.
You have shown what we treat as ownership of investment. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't support you to take this forward.
Issa Yakubu used to be a seasonal farmer, but now he is an all-year-rounder. Together, he and members of his cluster are taking advantage of the channelization of water and a kind of farming method, Akrisal, the agro-climatic resilience in semi-arid landscapes the World Bank and state governments have introduced to combat hunger and malnutrition.
So I'm not telling lies. Follow me to my farm and see what they are up to.
Initially, when the rain falls, you have a crisis. Now, there's nothing like that.
The excitement written on the faces of the beneficiaries actually gives us satisfaction that this project is on course.
Okene, being one of the catchment areas, is suffering from gully erosion that has not only destroyed buildings but claimed lives. Charles Alpha, Nta News.
Empowering women is not just a matter of social justice, but also a catalyst for national development. The First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, emphasized these at the APC Women National Summit and Dialogue in Abuja. Ari John tells us more.
Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON. Gathered here are members of the women wing of the ruling party, the All Progressives Congress. Their convergence at this national summit in Abuja is to discuss identified challenges and opportunities for enhancing the profile of the APC in Nigeria, with the theme Empowering Women for Leadership and Nation Building. The First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, led the charge in reminding women in the country to key into the Renewed Hope agenda to improve their economic fortunes.
The Renewed Hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR places strong emphasis on creating opportunities for women to thrive economically, socially, and politically. In this administration, we have witnessed increased representation of women in key positions within our party and government.
One of the greatest responsibilities we have as women leaders is to empower the next generation of female leaders. Let us envision a world where every girl knows that she can be a leader.
Women are the foundations of the nation. Therefore, they are the foundation of the house. Without a strong foundation, the country would not be built strongly.
We, the women, the First Lady of the nation advised us and told us what we should do. I think now she has kind of gingered us up to go out and take our rightful positions.
The program has been very impactful and it has been very insightful.
Other stakeholders at the event emphasized the importance of women participation in political decision-making. In Abuja, Ari John, NTA News.
Nigeria should take the path of neutrality in the geopolitical competition for the soul of Africa between the West and Russia. Jide Adibe, a professor of political science and international relations, gave the advice during the 46th inaugural lecture series of Nasarawa State University, Kefi. Guse Peve has details.
The audience in this hall was enthralled by erudition by Jide Adibe, the 46th inaugural lecturer of Nasarawa State University, Kefi. Affirming his chair as a professor of political science and international relations, Adibe posits that Russia's newfound love for Nigeria, nay Africa, should be handled with caution, as it offers both threats and opportunities.
Opportunities offers us the competition between the two powers, what we call the Truman Doctrine. We should not try to make it a double dependency, depend on this country and depend on the other country, but to creatively be able to know how we can maximize what comes to us from the competition between the two powers.
Vice-Chancellor Nasarawa State University, Kefi, Professor Sadatu Hassan Liman, in a message encourages more research outputs from the academics so that government and relevant agencies will implement the recommendations for a better society.
And the tradition is going to be encouraged by our vice-chancellor. Any professor that is willing, even next week, the management is willing to sponsor him.
I didn't expect anything less. It was such a robust one. And those who know him enough know that they wouldn't have expected anything less.
This lecture has opened a new horizon in international relations.
The topic of the lecture is, what does Russia really want from Africa? From Kefi, Nguse PV, NTA News.
Nigerians will soon begin to see an informed and citizen-centered approach to policing in the country. This is the main takeaway from the three-day engagement between the police trainers from across their training schools and a team of experts at the instance of the police authority supported by the international collaborators. Aminu Umar reports that the aim is to promote effectiveness and accountability, focusing on the Nigeria Police Act 2020 and Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015.
Security experts believed that the laws under the Nigerian policing system were obsolete, which undergo repeal that brought about the Police Act 2020. 4 years after, Nigerians and some critical stakeholders are not well informed about the reforms that seeks to address many shortcomings in addition to addressing gender gaps in policing the country. Converged here are participants from the 19 training schools across the country to sharpen their understanding, to be able to cascade the knowledge to the recruits from their respective training schools for a more informed and effective policing of Nigeria.
Because we have learned a lot, and it has made us to be more prepared to offer more to our cadets and recruits, as the case may be.
So it has actually helped us, both the Police Act and AGJA. So in a way, it will really help us to carry out our assignment as trainers better.
A team of experts consisting the academics, international collaborators and the representative of the Department of Training from the force headquarters are working towards deepening understanding of the Act, together with the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015.
The Police Act 2020 and the AGJA are key laws that regulates the police. And the training is the foundation, it's pivotal.
We hope that key outcomes from this will be a better understanding of the Police Act 2020 as well as its application in their day-to-day lives.
And I think what we are trying to get across is how these individuals, the participants, will go back to their respective schools and colleges to be able to dedicate their time in assisting the students.
A similar mission was also taken to the Police Academy in Wudil, where the team engaged the management of the institute. In Kano, Amin Umar, Nta News.
Nigeria Hunter and Forestry Security Service will continue to play a critical role in addressing insecurity in Nigeria, particularly in ungoverned spaces through collaboration with sister security agencies and intelligence gathering and sharing. Commander Nigeria NHFSS Joshua Osatiemin reaffirmed these while decorating John Meche as Deputy Commander General Intelligence. By collaborating with sister security agencies and focusing on intelligence gathering and community engagement, the NHFSS significantly contributes to curbing ungoverned spaces and enhancing the overall security landscape in Nigeria. Continued investment in their capacity and operations will be vital in sustaining these efforts and ensuring lasting peace and security in the region.
All this rising of insecurity within the country. Hunter is naturally known to understand the terrain of the forest. So if we are being empowered today by signing our bill that have been concurrently passed by 2 houses of National Assembly, I believe it will embolden our officer, giving us confidence that we can take battle to this criminals element within the forest and dislodge them.
For the golden fish, to whom much is given, much is expected.
A very big honor, because this department is the heartbeat of the organization. You guys should agree that our main primary objective as Nigerian Hunters and Forest Security Service is to provide intelligence to our parental bodies. We are the one that are in the front runner. We're in the forest, we gather the intel, the information on what is going on, and then we pass it to them. And I promise the organization and Nigeria that they are going to see a big transformation starting from today.
The NHFSS was established to enhance forest and wildlife conservation while simultaneously addressing issues of insecurity linked to illegal logging, poaching, and land encroachment. The Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BORN, has called on the federal government and agencies to see journalists and other media practitioners as essential partners whose roles are to make government and her agencies accountable in order to ensure a stable, prosperous and egalitarian society. Executive Secretary BORN, Dr. Yemisi Bangbose, in a statement to mark International Day of Seeking an End to Impunity and Crimes Against Journalists, says it is desirable to call on the government to reorientate the security agencies and other state actors on the roles of journalists and other media practitioners in making governments at all levels accountable to those that give them the mandate to administer the country on their behalf. He emphasizes that journalists complement the work of the security agencies and should be seen as partners in the development and protection of our hard-earned democracy. This is the news at 11 on Nta News 24. More reports after this break. Do stay with us.
The dreams that our founding fathers envisaged are still work in progress. Every day, we put our hands on the plow, determined to do a better job of it. While it is tempting to focus on what has been left undone and where we have stumbled as a nation, we must never lose sight of how far we have come in forging and holding our country together.
Now, the National Prayer Forum has urged Nigerians to come together in prayer to address the country's socio-economic and security challenges. Director General of the Forum, Segun Balogun Afolarunikon, at a media briefing in Abuja, emphasized that it is a responsibility of citizens to continue to pray for the nation's leaders at all levels in a collective desire to solve the nation's challenges, from rising costs of living to insecurity.
That at the end of the prayer session, all the challenges confronting the country in the political, social, economical space and security will be tamed. Mr. President, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu believes there will be light at the end of the tunnel.
A reminder has gone to Christian leaders to uphold biblical standards in the course of preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. The vision bearer, Bible Pattern Gospel Ministers Outreach, Pastor Samuel Sadiku, who gave the advice during a 3-day Bible National Conference in Abuja, implored the clergy to avoid teachings that will mislead their followers.
Of the gospel, why the church itself was born on earth, is for soul winning. And so any power one is praying for is to boost spiritual energy for gospel ministration.
While acknowledging that there would be life after death, Pastor Sadiku stressed the need for Christians to be committed to the service of God and humanity.
It's very, very simple. The simple thing I have to say is that the counsel to the general public is that nobody should go for fetish power in doing the work of God, because God's power is sufficient and it's the only original power that will never fade.
Essence of what we are doing is to reposition the church, to redirect the church attention to Jesus. If we follow the Bible pattern, way of life, things will become better.
The scripture is very, very plain. God in his word is very, very plain. He said, look for the old path. walk in it, because that is where you will find rest to your soul. Anything short of that, you will meet a crisis, you will meet disaster.
The 3 days conference with the theme, "They Saw No One But Only Jesus," is being attended by ministers of the gospel. Now, a presidential candidate of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, Nta News24, says he will ensure transparency and accountability in running the affairs of the union if successful at the polls. He stated this at a meeting with media professionals in Jos ahead of the 2024 Triennial Delegates Conference in Owerri, Imo State. Deyang Adeyaba Gang reports.
And he is Dele Atumbi, one of the candidates seeking for the position of president of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, was in Minna to interface with the delegates and members of the union ahead of November election. Atumbi's train-tagged rejuvenation team has a vision which focuses on strengthening professional development, enhancing media practitioners' welfare, fostering unity and cooperation among members, as well as promoting journalism's role in national development.
We will do everything possible to ensure that our members are protected, we improve on their welfare, we ensure training and retraining, we embark on infrastructural development at the National Secretariat of the Union, and to equally ensure that IIJ, in terms of infrastructural development, is not lacking.
Dele Atumbi boasts an impressive track record, having served as chairman on Ondo State Council, zonal vice president, and was the national treasurer of NUJ, from where he stepped down to vie for the #1 position of the union. His extensive experience demonstrates his dedication and leadership prowess. During his tenure as Ondo State Council chairman, Atumbi facilitated the construction of a secretariat and re-engagement of some dismissed members, a feat described as milestone in the overall development of the union.
He came with a message of rejuvenation, with a message of capacity, with a message of innovation. These pillars will drive a new NUJ that will take the entire media practice in Nigeria to the next level.
The engagement was an interactive one, as members took turn to share thoughts with the candidate and raise observation on his agenda. In Minna, Hussaina Musa, Nta News.
A Mexican celebration honoring the memory of loved ones has been held in Abuja. Led by the Mexican ambassador to Nigeria, Alfredo Miranda, the Dia de Muertos is a vibrant tradition that includes the creation of altars, heartfelt offerings, and joyous festivities to celebrate the lives of those who have passed. Suleiman Abdul Wahab reports.
Who believed that death was not an end but a continuation of life in another form.
Dia de Muertos is the day for Mexicans to remember and celebrate the life of those who have passed, emphasizing the belief that death is part of life and that the spirit of the deceased return to be with their families during the 1st and 2nd of every November.
It's a moment of reflection and to receive their souls. We prepare the altars in our homes and we dedicate the altars to them. You can see that the altar has food, different ingredients like salt, water, drinks. Food is a very important component in the altars. And the floor of Cempasúchil that we call Mayor is a floor with a very strong scent who brings the attention of the souls.
Today I am celebrating my grandparents, both the 4th of them, as well as my mother and my cat, some uncles and some aunts.
During the celebration, special mention was made of remarkable Nigerian women who fought for the country, such as Fumilayo Ransome Kuti, honoring their legacies and contribution to Nigeria.
Today we are also honoring a Nigerian woman in our
altar, which is Fulmilayo Ransom Kuti. So we are honoring a Nigerian and a Mexican woman, Ifigenia Martinez.
So apart from being the mother of 4 wonderful people, Idolu, the nurse, Dr. Ransom Kuti, Ebeko, Prof, and Fela, she produced a lot of Nigerian youths, through her class.
I love Nigeria and Nigerians, and one good thing is that they also share with us their love for spicy food. And in not few of the ofrendas, there's a lot of spicy food over here because our families love them, our ancestors do, and just as you, we also love chili habanero, by the way.
The events serve as a reminder to rest well and remember those who have paved way for the future generations. In Abuja, Suleiman Abdul Wahab, Nta News.
This was where we end the late news at 11 on Nta News24. Thank you so much for being a part of it. My name is Justin Bemunyi, and I say do have a wonderful night rest.